Ladies and gentlemen, Bridge here, trying something out a little bit different than normal as I'm picking out a highlight reel for this match. In this match, I was playing as Urgot, Tack was playing as Singed, and Bacon was playing Fizz in mid lane. As we start off the match, showing off first blood, which the enemy does pick up against Singed, but I managed to get some payback against the enemy Ashe. Definitely not the best of starts, but a 1-for-1 exchange isn't too terrible. Meanwhile, the two randoms on our team were taking the top lane, and they were not impressed with us giving up first blood in the bottom lane. Therefore, to make up for it, the allied Shaco decides to show us how it's really done. And as they make the mistake of constantly trying to take out the Shaco, he manages to pick up the double kill. Well done, Shaco. And trying to make up for the past error, we end up in a 2v1 situation against Ashe as Tryndamere went to gank mid. And then Singe, picking up his ultimate, decides to go after Ashe, throw him in. Ashe attempts to escape through the river, but it's not going to do her any good as we manage to finish her off. Shortly later, Ashe respawns, bringing Lulu in tow this time to the bottom lane. I decided I don't like Lulu's position on the map, so I switch with her with my ultimate. A Singe fling later, she stays within tower range, and we managed to finish her off. Lulu did not have a good match, as I managed to protect Singe here, at least for the moment. Lulu ended up finishing the match 0-19-10, which is not all that good. I'm not really sure if it was Lulu's fault or if it was the rest of the team not protecting her very well. Later in the match, Urgot and Singed, a little bit low on health now, get pushed back a little bit from the enemy tower. In the meantime, Fizz comes down from mid lane looking for a gank, and unfortunately the enemy decides to pull back towards their tower. So it is up to Tack as Singed and myself as Urgot, of course, to try and draw them away. Eventually we do end up being successful with that. It just takes a little bit of coaxing, but we're able to pull at least the Tryndamere over, picking up a kill. And right before Fizz ends up picking up the kill on Tryndamere, he throws out an errant fish, which seems like a wasted ultimate, but Akali manages to run into it somehow, nearly giving Fizz the double kill. Soon after, Singed and Fizz find themselves all alone with the enemy Lulu and decide to take her out once again. I would just have to say this just once: Tack, Bacon, you two are mean for picking on a little girl. That is all. As I return to bottom lane, Lulu and Tryndamere are busy trying to take out Fizz and Singed. As I get there, I find Tryndamere out of position thanks to a fling from Singed, and manage to switch with him using my ult. Going into turret range, he switches on Endless Rage to avoid death, but I manage to land the only known counter, Ignite, eventually leading to Tryndamere dying as soon as his ultimate gives out. Meanwhile, the enemy Fiddlesticks decided he wanted to try and get in on the action, but he came in a little too late and ends up paying for it, as a Fizz ultimate and a couple of other strikes bring him down. Eventually, they do manage to take out Fizz for the second time in the match, but in doing so, they manage to anger Singed. And when you anger Singed, you get flipped to death. Then in mid lane, in the 29th minute, Lulu is caught out of position. A Singe fling does not get her killed immediately as he sacrifices himself, eventually picking up a kill on Akali because she decided to chase him. Something you're never supposed to do. Speaking of chasing, I decide that I'm not done with Fiddlesticks, and so I go in for the kill. It eventually leads to a continuation of the team fight, which costs us another kill, but after Fiddlesticks goes down, we easily end up acing the enemy team. After the ace, we end up stalling at the mid inhibitor turret, trying to open up the match a little bit, and finding myself with a unique opportunity. I ult the Ashe, switching her over into the middle of our team. As she tries to escape, Singe flings her back into harm's way, and we pick up a kill there quite easily. Now, this recap seems a little bit skewed towards making us look good, but the enemy team were not scrubs in the least. In this team fight that breaks out, they actually managed to coordinate themselves a lot better than we did, managing to pick up an ace and costing us our inner mid tower in the process. After respawn, Singe decides to push the bottom lane, trying to get to their inner turret. Fiddlesticks manages to make an appearance, apparently on accident, either that or looking for an opportunity, alerting Singe to his presence. Singe eventually makes his way towards him, hoping for an easy gank. Fiddlesticks starts to attack. Luckily, Urgot comes to the rescue, and Fiddlesticks' ult cannot save him. However, this leads to yet another team fight, which ends up turning into a 3-for-3 exchange, as Tryndamere manages to take out quite a few, but eventually falls to a Fizz ultimate. I believe Bacon thought that Tryndamere was actually eaten by the shark. Unfortunately, that did not happen, but in the heat of battle, you can kind of miss certain little details.
Purple team triple kill. Blue team double kill.
After killing Baron, Shaco ends up running into the enemy Akali while trying to push bottom lane. He manages to defeat Akali single-handedly, but is unprepared for Ashe, who attempted to join in the action, just a little too late to save Akali, but just early enough to pick up a kill on the fleeing Shaco. And as this was going on, the rest of the team was pushing the inhibitor turret. We finally managed to get enough damage on it to bring it down, signifying the beginning of the end of this match, which eventually ended in a victory for our side. And as this final clip plays out, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to watch this. This was actually surprisingly fun to make. I think I'm going to have to try and do more of these match recaps in the future. Particularly with, of course, games with myself or my friends in it, but also I'm going to see if I can try and do this with some random games that I managed to see on LoL Replay or being shown on the client itself. Hopefully by then I'll have a much better mic and will actually develop a radio voice, which will sound a lot better than this. In the meantime, thank you for watching and have a good day.